Welcome to the Notes and Solutions of day 44 of our GCSE 5 a day. We start with a multiplication question. And I'm going to do this a couple of ways for you. First of all, I'm going to use a column method, and what you'll see very clearly is that I've left space between my columns and I've made sure that my columns are very clearly lined up. We're going to start here and we're going to multiply 2 by 7, which is 14. Carrying 1, multiply 2 by 1 is 2, with this one here makes 3. I'm now going to move to my 8, which is actually 80, and because it's 80, I'm going to start with a 0 here, so I'm actually working off my tens column. 8 sevens are 56, 6 here, 5 in this column here, 8 ones are 1, plus my 5 is 13, so that's 13 here, 1 over here. 4 and 0, 4, 3 and 6, 9, 3, 1. So my answer, 1, 3, 9, 4. I'm now going to use a grid method, which some of you may prefer. And we partition our numbers into their tens and units. And we would do this with hundreds if we had hundreds, 80 and 2. 8 times 1 is 8 and 1, 2 zeros. 8 times 7 is 56 and 0. 2 times 1 is 2 and a 0. 2 times 7 is 14. I'm then going to have to sum those. Again, making very sure that I've got my columns lined up. 0, 0, 0, 4, 6 and 2 is 8 and 1 is 9, 5 and 8 is 13, also 1, 3, 9, 4, which is reassuring. So if you want to practice those on centuries, some practice with the column method is in 3.07, and if you're going to use the grid method, 3.08. And I recommend that you do this with just one method. Okay, well, the angle fact we need to know here is that all the angles around a point sum to 360 degrees. So if this one's 100 and this one's 110, then the missing one must make this all add up to 360. So I'm going to add these two together. And then I'm going to subtract that from 360. It's always making sure my columns line up. 0 take away 0 is 0, 5 and 1. So there we have our answer. Good nugget to go and practice some more of those on century is 27.05. I think we've seen plenty of these sequences now, and our starting point is to look at the gap as we go from one term to the other. And so as we can see, at each point we're going 5 bigger. So our next one here is going to be 5 bigger than 22, which is 27. And our nugget to go and practice that, 22.02. Okay, well, we've already seen that our sequence here is going up in 5s. And the sequence that we know goes up in 5s is our 5 times table, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And what we're being asked to do here is to see if we have an expression which can describe our whole sequence. Now, the sequence that describes our 5 times table is 5n. 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, and so on. What we can see is that at each step, our sequence is 3 smaller than our 5 times table. So the expression that we are looking for to describe our sequence is 5n, the 5 times table, take away 3. So there's our answer, 5n take away 3. The nugget for us to go and practice on century is 22.07. Okay, we've got a couple of skills going on here. So let's start with the top, is that we're multiplying 2 powers together, and we should be familiar that at this stage s to the power 4 means s times s times s times s, and we're multiplying by s cubed, which is s times s times. So we can see that in fact we've got 7 s's that we've multiplied together, and of course that has come from these two numbers here, that 4 plus 3 equals 7. So our problem now is s to the power 7 divided by s squared. And in this instance, we are not adding our powers, we are subtracting them. 7 take away 2 is 5. So our answer is s to the power 5. So the value that we were looking for A is 5. Now the nugget to go and practice here is 17.11, which is mixed problems of this nature. You may want to go and practice this part of the problem here, which is 17.07, or this part of the problem here, which is 17.09. If you've still got problems with this type of question, then please ask your teacher, and the same with all the other questions.